extraordinaire, man, myth, legend, author. Oh, I got your book here somewhere. I think Morgan actually has it. Huh. Right on. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? We are last show of the day. It's our fifth show of the day. All right, we're on. Okay, welcome everybody on the live and the replay. We're going to allow people time to come in. It's on my. You can share it now. I'm going to play the intro. We'll be back in a minute, 19 seconds with Keith Anthony Blanchard. Got Keith Anthony Blanchard in the house, Memphis, Tennessee, guitar extraordinaire, bass player, vocalist. Got a little bit of a preacher. Got a little bit of you got a lot of stuff going on over there, man. You got some galactic, angelic. Yeah, and we've done several collaborations together. But my favorite one is when I stopped by your place. I thought about it a while ago, man, but I didn't have enough time. I should have downloaded that show and cut out the piece where where you were playing the guitar and we did a little soul speaking. That was fun.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, that was fun. That was back in June, 1st of June. I think it was May 31st, June 1st, something like that. So, and I can't remember what it was, but you said you wanted to talk about something that had happened to you. And I think was it in India?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, it was in India.
You had said that there was something that maybe you might want to talk about that happened over there. The interesting thing is, I just met this guy Gary Mooney and said, "Hey, why don't you come on and do a show?" He just came on right before this one. That's why I was tight for time. And he actually has a lot of the same qualities you do. You know, it's interesting. He plays a guitar, by the way. Plays a guitar as well. Yeah.
Dig it.
So yeah, man. So you're holding it down on the front line of the apocalypse. You just got deplatformed for no apparent reason.
Right.
Ride with God. There you go.
I'll be honest with you, bro. And if you ever been deplatformed, whoever you are, it feels like a death.
Really?
Because I birthed this baby since 2008.
Wow.
Friends, connections, successes, pains, all these wonderful aspects of the human being.
Yeah.
And it all got burned in the fire.
You didn't even put anything controversial out or anything like that, or did you? No.
Well, no.
Nothing like political or inflammatory. I mean, I've seen your stuff. There's never anything but just pure light, man. Center of light.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this. In the recent past, say 8 months ago, someone said they're tired, they're going to bed. So funny, Keith goes grab a GIF or a GIF, depending on how you pronounce it, of a guy fully clothed, diving inside of two mattresses, like two pieces of bread in a sandwich. That was it.
Yeah.
And it got flagged by the eye because the eye made a decision. The camera eye made a decision. Yeah. Nudity. And there was nothing nude about it.
There was nothing there.
Right. So they gave me a slap, and I get it. They're doing whatever.
Yeah,
and I just did this presentation in Melbourne, Florida for the weekend for Spirit Fest 2020. I gave a keynote speaking.
Right on. Did you go down there, or did you have to do it virtual?
I flew.
Oh, far out.
Yeah. And when I got done, I got on live with my camera, holding it up in the hotel room, just chilling and telling my story and how my day went. And a troll comes in and says, "Cult leader." And I said, "Brother, you're never going to get a raise out of me. It's never going to happen."
Don't even address him, man. I don't even.
And I said, "But instead, I'm going to do everything I can to raise you." And at the end of the show, a presentation. I went to go just to check out the person, where they from, what's their thought process and whatever.
Hmm.
And the screen went, couldn't find it. And the next day I woke up,
You're gone.
let's go.
Beware. It was probably Zuckerberg himself. Oh man, wow, that's trippy. That's kind of trippy. But and it's funny too because like I didn't start in 2008, but it was 2000 in earnest. Well, it was 2011, but in earnest 2013 when I really got on. And man, I got hammered a lot, man. They actually removed my account 4 times in one day. I took pictures of it because I kept sending them responses every time, and I guess I bypassed it like 3 times, and the fourth time they cut me off. They used to cut me off of going live, for like 4, 5, 6 days at a time. And then I don't know, I just changed something. I stopped engaging. I stopped making comments. I put up posts, of course, and I went live, and I stopped sharing to groups, and I don't know, it just kind of went away. So I don't know what that's all about. But we did get a strike in the Soulogy group about a week ago, and they said if you have another one, we're going to deplatform the group, which it wasn't even anything. It was just like a guy diving between 2 mattresses.
Making a sandwich.
Yeah,
Whatever. Here's something else that's really odd, Todd.
yeah,
Yesterday, a friend of ours, you and I, texted me. Well, because that friend and another close friend of mine, we all got deplatformed. And one of these people, especially, post pictures of food, flowers, loved
yeah,
ones. That's it.
yeah,
They
yeah.
got removed. So the next day, the other friend calls and sends me a text, and this is gonna blow you wild. Keith, they just removed me from Instagram, and I said, let me go check. And they removed me, and they removed the other friend because we all using the same email to these two platforms,
Ah,
right? So, and guess who owns the other platform? The same platform, the
right
first one.
on.
And so, as they're texting me this, Todd, I hit, this was in a text message. So instead of typing this all out, I hit the microphone to
Yeah.
respond. She said, I don't understand what's happening. So I hit the button. And before I started speaking, someone outside of my apartment shut a car door and turned on the car. And I swear to you, in the text field said, car door shut, engine started.
What the fuck is that?
That's what I'm asking. Now, wait, this is where it gets crazy,
That's trippy.
right? And so they said, why do you think this has happened? I clicked the button again, and it said, jealous people.
Wow. I've had stuff like that happen to me, and I know other people have too. And you go, oh, well, it was auto spell, but you know what? Morgan used to say that the internet is the highest manifestation of the ethers. So it's got like it's got physical qualities, but it's also accentuated and accelerated our abilities to telepath, and for that energy to move from one place to another, however you want to put that. And there's something to that, like these pictures that people take, right? When I was in the studio, I used to take these pictures, and there'd be gold beams of light coming out of me and stuff, and people are like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. And then you see some people out there that do it, taking pictures of themselves or even around them. I know like 3 people, like Robin Redford. She takes these pictures, and you see orbs, and you see Buddha. I mean, it's real. And I wonder if our energy field is starting to become five sensical. Like sight, sound. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. In fact, when I was in Florida doing that presentation for my new book, shameless plug, Homecoming
Hey,
Crossing
man,
the Bridge
you
to
can
the
call me
Soul.
all you want, man. You're my partner.
So I did a presentation, a keynote speaking called everything's backwards, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you this because you're talking about the five senses, how they're beginning to engage from the macro to the micro. They're actually starting to plant themselves in a less effort usable fashion. They're just starting to happen. They're starting to pop off. I did a particular exercise, Todd, and for those out there, I would like to give you an awareness expansion technique. I am actually going to help you glimpse your soul. It may be fleeting just like that, but
Mm.
nonetheless, you will experience it. When such a thing, a beautiful thing, becomes tangible, it gives the faith gate a little more width.
Yeah.
It helps us to fall in a little greater with letting go. All of these wonderful qualities. So what it is if you are looking at this camera or this screen, whatever screen you're looking at, just continue to look forward. Don't anyone, don't change your gaze. Don't look at me, if you would. So take an inventory of how you feel in your body right now. Just no judgment. Just feel the feeling. If there is one, or how deep does it go? Just feel what it's like to be you. Take 3 breaths. Take another inventory of how you feel right now. You feel completely different.
Hmm.
You feel illuminated. You feel the buzz. It's because you're becoming aware of your light body via these sensory inputs that you have,
Yeah.
including the sixth and the seventh and the infinite degree of what and who you are. This is what the exercise is going to do. It's going to give you an expansion so you can touch that aspect of yourself and go, oh, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
Now that you become aware of who you are after the breath, as you look at me, become aware of the taste in your mouth. Just simply become aware of the taste in your mouth. Become aware of the temperature on your skin. Become aware of any sounds around you, including my voice. Just become aware. The hearing ability is more of who you are because the eyes can be very deceiving.
Mm.
How you are hearing me, if you want to turn away for at least for a second, that's the part of you that always was, is, and forever will be.
That's a good exercise, man.
So
That
now,
comment. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're
no,
still
no, no,
going.
by all means, go ahead, Tom.
No, I was going to say the sense of even smell, hearing, uh, sense, the touch, like, you're saying, what's the temperature of your body? The first thing I thought was my hands are cold. Uh, but that's actually feeding or leaning towards more of the intuitive than what the eyes can do because the eyes can really, as they say, play tricks on you.
They almost see what they want to see. Of course, that's a functionality of the mind, which convinces the brain to create the experience.
Yeah.
But so we have tasting the taste in your mouth. Keep looking at me. Taste. What does it taste like in your mouth? What does your tongue taste like?
Toothpaste.
What is
That's my teeth before the
what
show.
is the feeling? What is the temperature on your skin? Just simply become aware of
Mm-hmm.
the temperature in your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Now become aware of my voice. Become aware of any sounds around you. Just become aware. Keep looking here. As you are still looking here, become of the light, aware of the light source in the room, above you, around you. You know they're there. All right. So we have taste in your mouth, feeling on your skin, sounds around you, and become aware of the light sources in the room. That you've done all that, I shifted your awareness by instruction to here, to here, to here, to here, and so forth. And so you said, okay, I'll play along. And you went from here to here to here to here. You've already seen 5 aspects of yourself that most people are so muddled and monkey minded they never give credence to. Now we're going to open the gate. Take one breath. Experience something. Become aware of the taste in your mouth, the feeling on your skin, the sounds around you, and the lights in the room all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it goes,
Yeah.
right? That's
Cool
the gate.
exercise.
That's the garden. That's where everyone is trying to get to, and humanity is inevitably moving in that direction.
True that, man. True that. And everything outside of us, when I say that, I'm talking about, what we've been focusing on before we woke up. Even if you look at this election, I'm just saying it, whatever, let's just call it. Uh, it's so distorted. It's so like a cartoon. It's like, it's just like, I don't know. For me, it's actually a good pressure to lead the direction of the exercise you just went through, which is to finally look at something, finally look at yourself, and including the quarantine, with the isolation, and the self introspection that comes with that. Yeah, very cool. So,
Yes.
what's it like in Memphis? Not in terms of the election, but like with everything going on in 2020, because you live in an area that's pretty, there's a lot of representation out in that area in the 5 or 10 mile radius. In fact, you're right on the border of whatever the next state is, right?
Yeah,
Right,
I'm on the corner where there's Arkansas and Mississippi and Tennessee. They all
right,
come
right.
together. Memphis, no, I wouldn't say surprisingly, deservingly,
Yeah.
is quiet for all
Wow.
of it. Memphis has been quiet.
Yeah.
Of all the tension that was here, can be here more so in a normal situation than COVID. It
Well, there's a
just,
lot of there's a lot of power, man. There's a lot of spiritual energy in Memphis.
yeah, right.
You can't have that kind of music mecca and not have strong, strong energies there.
And the Mississippi River with a pyramid next to it. Memphis,
Pyramid.
right? Memphis, Egypt, Memphis,
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
pyramid, there's a pyramid that Memphis
yeah,
built some years ago, huge, size of a
yeah.
pyramid, actually. It's a
Yeah, I saw
coliseum.
that. I know what you're talking about for a second. I thought you said it was in the river for a minute. No, I saw that when I went through there last time. Well, the last couple times I hadn't seen that before. Yeah. So, how did you get started with Center of Light? How did that happen? Like, did you just wake up one day and say, "I'm going to do this," or what happened?
Many years ago, a gentleman by the name of Jabaj, he interviewed me once on this radio. This is back in the Blog Talk days.
Hmm.
He interviewed me, and then we hung out backstage afterwards. I said, "Bro, let me interview you." He said, "Really? Where?" I said, "On your show." He said, "All right." So that happened, and a month or so goes by, and a friend of mine contacts me, says, "Keith, I've been doing this particular show called Searcher's Roadmap for all." He goes, "Can you give me a 2 or 3 week pause so I can take a break and you just host my show?" I said, "Sure." After about 4 weeks, he said, "You want the show?" I said, "Sure." And so I kept doing it. And after about 6 months of that, I said, "Jim, I hope you understand if I'm going to continue to do this, I can't call it the Searcher's Roadmap. That's just not me."
Hmm.
And he said, "Whatever." I said, "Okay." And it was Center of Light. And that's how that began to happen. And I've been doing, like you, on air, making contact with our tribe. This is probably my 11th year of
Wow.
sitting in a chair.
What's
And
cool, what I find very cool about you and people like you is you just do what you do, man. Like you don't give a shit, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in you. In other words, coming from you, and I can relate to you, but I'm talking about other people, talking about you, people like you, and it's not like, oh, I don't give a shit what people think. It's more like, uh, it's I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to look back. Like you have blinders on, and you just wake up and get it done every day. And by the way, he's no different online as he is in person. I can tell you because I met him. More than once actually. Met you twice. Isn't that crazy?
yeah,
Yeah,
enjoyed both times. We don't do it
yeah,
again.
yeah, man. I
I'm
still
gonna come
remember the
find you. I'm gonna come find you in
I
Arkansas,
still
though.
remember the spaghetti.
And then
Shit
you had
was
the
good.
gumbo,
And the gumbo. That's right.
and I had your brisket.
That's right, man. My brother's brisket.
Yeah.
That's my brother. My brother's a good cook. Wow. Yeah. So and you're like, how do you navigate 2020 COVID quarantines, mask, this what they call an election, which who knows what the hell it is. I have no affinity for either side. How do you navigate that stuff? Do you even pay attention to any of it?
I don't participate as much as possible
Yeah, that's
because
me. That's me.
what a lot. Yeah, absolutely, it's you. That is so you. I realize the show in here
Yeah,
is so much more entertaining,
yeah,
engaging, rewarding than the show off and the
yeah,
show out here. It's fun. I like a good movie. I like a good horror flick. I like,
yeah, yeah,
but I like a good love story.
yeah, yeah. It is there. So there's a part of you, or when I say you, part of me, a part of us that wants to take a look at what's happening and wants to watch the different movies. But I don't know if we're getting to a point where we just straight up can't do that anymore. But we certainly have got to the point where we can uh, take a look as an observer and then step back and go back to our own love story, right? But yeah, man, it seems like things are moving so fast, and there's such a separation between even watching 5 minutes of the movies out there versus spending 5 minutes with yourself. It's like it's a no brainer. Like I don't even need to go out there anymore. I like what you said. You don't participate as much as possible. You only participate as much as you have to.
Yeah, and I like it. I like it participating, checking in with people.
Yeah,
People gets me going. I love
yeah,
people.
yeah,
And but I check in and I check
yeah,
out. I check in and I check it. Then I check it out. And I play all in or out and all around and about. I dabble in the world.
yeah.
My truth, my reality, that which makes senses to me will never be found out there. It's very engaging. That world out there, well, Keith, I'm pretty strong. Fantastic. I'm glad that you're strong. That's awesome. Even strong people get pulled into nonsense because,
That's right.
if you're in a swimming pool and when you're a kid, there's a above ground swimming pool and they're making a whirlpool, right? And as long as you're standing in the center of the whirlpool, the center of yourself, you're not affected by the current.
Right on.
Likewise, you reach out into that place, the event horizon of that whirlpool. It's got some power and it can pull you in. So another important component to that is be careful who you reach your hand to help because
Hmm.
likewise, you may have the greatest powerful effect by simply just loving them from a distance because if someone is drowning in that current and they reach their hand to you and you go to grab it and they pull you, you're drowning yourself is never going to help another drowning person.
Hmm.
Hello, baby.
We have
What's
a
up?
visitor who's very camera shy.
That was it. That was Morgan.
That's Morgan, but we have a visitor, a very
Ah,
special visitor tonight.
dig it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll be out in 30 minutes. I'm glad you made it safe. How many people can drive from Minnesota and tell you they're going to be there at 6:45 and show up at 7? I'd have been here at 8:30, man. Yeah, so that's yeah, man. I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's again. So you and people like you, or people who like the guy that was just on. He said, "It's my life. I'm going to do what I want to do." And obviously, you're not in this frequency or this band of frequencies, this vibration, if you want to step on people and you don't understand what karma is and you haven't been humbled, So to say it from that standpoint, say, it's my life. I'm going to do what I want to do, be with who I want to be with, and do what I want to do, and pursue my dreams and all that. Yeah, man. I mean, I think that as we are becoming uh, more conscious frequencies or of our frequency, I think we're going to start to understand uh, how these our frequencies, not our words so much, that's secondary, but our frequencies themselves, like a tuning fork, affect everybody around us and the world, man. That's not new age bullshit.
No,
That's
it's not.
this is quantum meeting spirituality or science and spirit or whatever you want to call it.
Heaven on earth.
Yeah, heaven on earth.
Quantum is heaven. The earth is the science.
There you
It's
go.
bringing it to the
Yeah.
zero in the center. Ultimately, the journey that you have embarked upon, the one that takes 1,000 years, that
Mm.
nothing happens till you take the first step, that's 500 years automatically shaved off because without the first step, nothing happens.
Yeah.
So when you step, you take 500 miles off your journey. But ultimately, where we're trying to get to is right here.
Yeah.
It brings us all back to center.
It's like
It's
the
all,
dog chasing its tail.
yeah, right.
Then he
And he
bites
does
the
it.
tail and figures out it's him biting his
It's
own
my
tail.
tail.
Like, hey, I brought all this on myself.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
what? Yeah, yeah. And like, you know, even even this. Okay, I want to be careful what I say, but even like what people, I don't. Let me put it this way: we have enough information out there that there's several narratives that would point to there have been mirrors of us in control who have been controlling both sides of whatever issues within a spectrum that perpetuate or promote a consciousness, a fear-based consciousness, which has been all of our interactions and all of our programs and all of our, everything. And now there are people who are saying here, going, you know what, as an example, I don't care who wins this election because everything's perfect, and we're not sounding cliche. We're just saying we all create this together. So this is what we choose. We're choosing this and we're choosing this. And sometimes when it looks like it's this one, it's actually not that one. It's something that's going to happen from what occurred, from what occurs. I mean, it's like we're being asked or forced or flowed into being present, acceptance, allowance, self-respect, self-honor, self-love, and all these things that are absolutely exploding the frequency of the earth. Like that old Texas saying, that dog won't hunt. Well, media, the stories, the movie scripts, that dog won't hunt. It's just not going to hunt anymore. There's a truth frequency on the earth that's superseding everything.
And it's showing everyone themselves.
Yeah.
Simply. It just sits there as a light and says, whatever you want, you can have, conscious or unconscious.
Yeah.
You want more grief and trouble and strife? Here's a whole bunch of it. Yes, you can have it. And so it brings us back to center. It allows us the opportunity, as you said earlier, Todd, to withdraw within.
Yeah.
Pull your gaze back, become esoteric, and just simply look at something without trying to manipulate it. If you can be a ghost for a day, just walk around the world, your reality, and don't say anything to anyone. In fact, cloak yourself. It works. Just be invisible and just watch the world move. Watch people shuffle about. It'll give you not only perspective.
It's made for you. It's like a book. It's like the external is a book for you. You know, it's true. And there's more and more people. Like, for instance, let's just say that, because whatever happens, we accept. Let's just say there's a whole bunch of deplatforming and a bunch of us are disconnected, at least seemingly disconnected, because we can't instant message or we can't, you know what I mean? But think about the muscle memory, the cosmic muscle memory that the last 10 years or so, say since 2012, that has developed in terms of our telepathic abilities. Like you used to get on Facebook when you first got on, you start messaging people, and some people would just send you a picture. But like the image itself would tell you who they were. It would give you the message and their frequency and their energy. You know what I mean? So many people have done that, and it's not the words we write, and it's not the words we speak. It's the energy, and it's being physicalized. But I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, I think we'd still be able to communicate.
It's the empty space.
Yeah.
Because music without empty space is one long note. It's the empty space. It's always the empty space. Empty. I'm empty inside, so therefore something can be filled. Space. This is not a place. This is actually a space. Phenomenal Chinese proverb. It's the space between the bars that holds the tiger. So it's not the bars. We think, well, Keith, it's the bars. The bars are tight. The tiger can get out.
Space between the bars.
Between the bars.
The tiger.
Yeah, you open up the space, the tiger gets out. So in space is releasing your tiger. You let him out. The power, the passion, the fire, the God, the Ya. The Na is the mind. Hopefully it's one of clear. And the Va is the backbone to stand up erect and carry out your truth. Fire, power, desire, passion, God. Clarity of mind, discernment, right choice, reason, and being strong in the back. Even someone who's in a wheelchair can have a strong va. Yanava, yanava, yanava. It's a sacred seed, syllable, self. Who we are right before you got the Godhead, then you have the soul, which is the myriad of souls. That would be Ya. When we become an individual aspect and we all hanging out in the garden looking at each other, laughing, doing what we want to do, that's Yanava. So these are any name referring to God is often Ah. Jesus Ananda, Krishna, Buddha, Paramahansa Yogananda, Yanava, so forth. When someone tells you a joke, you might have to tell it to you three, 4 times, and then you say, Ah. Well, what is that Ah? That Ah is enlightenment.
Ja,
I get it. I understand. Ah.
Jamon. Jamon. Yeah. Rage. Reggae. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
that's some good fluid commentary there. I'm digging that. So, I mean, how long you been like this? Because I'm looking at you going, he's in Memphis, and I love music, and and I know a lot about music history, but you don't have to be a history buff to know about Bill Street. But so you're in Memphis, you're in the music scene, you're a bass player, guitar player, vocalist, writer, and at the same time you're on this path. How long you been on this path?
It started. I mean, literally putting my toe. Reading my first book, Louise L. Hayes, You Can Heal Your Life in 90, whatever.
Yeah.
Nine to 1988.
Yeah.
1992 is when I read the first book.
Yeah.
And I just wanted something, Todd. I wanted
You,
something beyond the nonsense I've always known.
yeah. And so it wasn't too long after that you went to India?
I went to India in the year 2000.
Oh, wow. Y2K.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was powerful, bro. It was just off the chart amazing.
Did you go to an ashram?
I did. I learned of an avatar, a god man on earth by the name of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, who had the ability to manifest. So I wanted to know some of that. I want to know what he's got.
What Kool-Aid's he drinking?
Yeah, right. And so I began to read every book I can find about him. He doesn't write books. He's not interested in writing books. People from the West and all over the world, doctors, scientists, those of such a mindset, are going over there because they hear all the hype and noise, and they're saying, I want to go see what that is. And they're coming back. These are the ones writing these books going, I don't know what that is. So I started reading these books. And in reading these books, there became a common message, which is those who wrote the books who were actually able to physically talk with Sai Baba. He said, if I come to you in a dream, you're not dreaming. You got my darshan, which means blessing. I'm actually present. You cannot dream of any deity and not have being blessed, because it takes the mind to create the image frequency to be able to have a dream of Jesus. So you have to be in that energy already for the mind to say, this is what you're experiencing. He began to come to me in dreams. And at first he looked like Deepak Chopra. And if you saw them side by side, you'd see why my mind painted that picture.
Yeah.
And for about a year, he came to me in dreams. Bro, super conscious, more so than you and I now. Or it could be, at least. So one night in particular, I'm unconscious, and on my spiritual knee, I feel somebody tapping me, bringing me to full-blown awareness. And I'm in this powerful, very lucid experience with Satya Sai Baba, who's standing across the river 100 feet. And he's talking to me telepathically, and I can hear him perfectly. And of course, the first thing that I do when I see him is I get down, he says, Keith, stand up. So I stand up, and he begins to tell me, I want you to come to India to see me. And I'm like, whoa, I would love to do this. Where would I get the money? I've never done such a thing. How would I put this all together? And he goes, put this down, Keith. Come see me. If you came here to put your feet on Indian soil to turn around and go home, do this for me. I said, sure. I wake up immediately, freaked out, freaked in, going, I think that was real. Where would I get the money? How will I do this? I've never done such a thing. And my mind just said, Keith, think about all that's been happening to you since the presence of this avatar in your experience. And I said, I think I'm going to India. And I let it go. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from a lady named Debbie Javour, a lady I'd never met. Hi, Keith. I said, hi. She says, my name is Debbie Javour. I said, hi. What can I do for you? She says, Keith, word got to me through a mutual friend. You want to go to India to see a holy man. I said, yes, sir. She goes, Keith, I'm a flight attendant. I got some companion passes for the year that are about to expire. And I would not like that to happen knowing you want to go to India to see your holy man. Can I give you a first-class round-trip ticket?
Holy shiitake mushrooms, man.
Bruh, I fell on my knees. I bruised him. I fell so hard. I cried so hard. I snotted. I stayed there for 30 minutes just bawling because of the coming back home. I had a dream begin to realize itself.
Yeah.
3 months later, I'm in India watching him come out, pinching myself, knowing the dream came full circle because the dream 3 months later
Did you ever talk?
truly realized itself.
Did you ever talk to him in person?
No, he's definitely not a person you can touch. It's only by his doing something like this means come here, or his attendants know because he's putting thoughts in their head. But I had my share of experiences when I was there.
I wonder how many, how many incarnated beings are like that. Just say in India.
These Babas are everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about Satya Sai Baba, this needs to not be taken out of context, whoever you are. Sai Baba is the highest, I'm going to quote it anyway, incarnation of God to ever walk on the earth. Yes, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Swamiji, Param, all these, it's all the same thing. Most of the beings on earth go from earth to here and connect. Satya Sai Baba came from here and stepped.
Is that a template, do you think, for all of us? Like to actually function in alignment, with all that stuff, that we brought in. I mean, really, really walk the talk. I mean, is that how you do it? Are we not kind of doing the same thing? And he's
clear. There's the only difference. We
that's
have
what I mean.
no.
But yeah. I mean, I'm saying from the highest level of respect.
Sure.
Too. I'm saying like, like you. Okay, so like you, I remember. I was driving Morgan to the airport after we got married, and she had to go back to Australia. And we were in the back of an Uber, and I saw Jesus. Like he flashed in front of me, and he was making all this light language. And he says, look up. He said, look up something like blue Jesus, or Jesus was a star seed or something like that. Syrian Jesus or something like that. So I told Morgan, she goes, well, look it up. And I looked it up, and I went right to this thing. It was on Ascension Glossary, Lisa Renee's deal. And, and I read it. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because this was a narrative that he was part of a Syrian team, galactic team. I think it was even multi species, and they came down here. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is this gentleman that you're talking about, and or Jesus and whoever else, I think maybe there was some that had I guess maybe like full memory, and then came down knowing early on what they're here to do and who they are and so on. And I just, but maybe as a precursor or as an example for all of us, kind of thing. Yes, you see where I'm going with it?
Absolutely. There's a time in our life where we initiate, integrate, graduate. This is the human being. This is usually the human dynamic, this black cloud. Not being clear. Todd, you said something wonderful. Not only is it a template for where we're going, it's who we already are.
Yeah,
The
true.
problem, if you will, is that the mind is clouded and shrouded with nonsense. We are no more powerful than when we illuminate than we are right
Yeah,
now. The only difference is there's no filter for these beings, Jesus, Satya Sai Baba, so
yeah.
forth and so on.
They never even got caught up in.
Right?
They never accepted the illusion as reality.
That's right. And this book, as an analogy, this is where we have been playing with for a long time. Hello, COVID-19, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we take the incentive, the initiative to walk down the bridge, walking the bridge to the soul. You look at the bridge, there's a lot of fog. You're not sure where you're stepping, right? It's misty. And so once you start on the bridge, keep in mind it is a rope bridge, crickety, rickety, wobbly rope bridge. And you have to hang on to you get to the center where everything is in balance and the bridge doesn't even move anymore. That is moving into the gate. That's initiation. Once you step through halfway, into 3/4, you are beginning the integration process. Now you're so used to how the bridge sways, you use the bridge to your advantage. Now you're dancing by the vibration of the bridge, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This would be the integration of spirit because you're now finding balance on the bridge to your soul. And finally, the idea is you are moving into something that is so infinite, trying to even describe it, you lose sight of it.
Yeah.
People, when you try to grab the Tao, you lose the Tao.
Yeah, that's right. You are the
It's,
Tao.
you are the Tao,
You know what I
right?
mean? It's
It's
like,
just it. There's
where
nothing
is
else.
it? Where is it? But yeah. So, and this is where I'm getting to, because I really feel, when I say feel, I don't mean like I think, I mean, I'm feeling it. Like, in what you do and what I do and our contemporaries and everyone that makes this vortex up, it's starting to click. Something's starting to click. And it's like, wait a minute. The only thing that's pulls us back, or whatever you want to call it, is what's being presented to us as the truth. And if we just say, here, I'm going to participate as little as I have to, and feather it out in time, it won't even be in my existence. That this is really Dorothy clicking her heels. This is the Toto pulling the curtain back. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what I'm getting. There's like a literal projection being played out, and we think we've got to go do this and eat that and not smoke this and not drink that and all these things when or protest or whatever. But when it's right here, when right here from your center, you say no. I'm not going to do that. I don't accept it. That's not reality. I know what reality is. And reality is now, fantasy is now the reality, and reality is now the fantasy.
What a delicious place to be in,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you could spin that entire web how you want. Reality illusion. No, that's even that's a riddle in and of itself.
Yeah.
When we try to realize, okay, here's good and here's bad. Well, obviously everybody thinks they want the good and the bad is bad. But you're still not seeing correctly. You're still seeing the bars as that which holds the
Yeah.
tiger.
That's right.
Because you are living in duality, thinking that you have two choices. In this regard, you don't have two choices. You only have one or the other.
Yeah.
You will always be in duality. That's not what
That's right.
reality is. Reality is the zero, the point on a graduated scale where positive and negative quantities are reckoned. So, what this means is when one realizes they don't have a choice to make, and they realize the Holy Ghost, the Trinity, that which rectifies the duality, is the observer, the one who
Yeah.
has been left with choice. No one gives credit nor
That's right.
credence or pays attention to the one who is this being that is making the choice. That is another level entirely,
Yeah. So
completely
it's
out
like,
of the ballpark.
yeah, it's like as soon as you make a choice, and in the
Yeah.
context you're talking about, you're in duality. I mean, like, okay, and I used this example earlier today. Somebody said to me, "Who are you going to vote for?" And I said, "He's, this one or that one." And I said, "I'm going to vote. I'm not going to vote for either one of them." "Well, who are you voting for?" I said, "I'm voting with my feet." You know, like I refuse to participate. That's part of the illusion. That is energy that I'm looking at. It's distorted, distracting energy. Now, I'm just using this as an example. Uh, I'm in a place. Why would I make a choice when I can have both? I guess is another way I'd put it. Why would I make a choice and cut off half of the universe and only deal with the half over here, which some people might say is the light? Well, the light cannot be the light unless it's got the dark. You know what I mean? And I remember in 2016 going through this process, walking the cemetery next to my house back in the old studio, night after night after night, until I just put my arms out one night and I was like, I accept all aspects of dark and light. And I remember that day or that night, it was in October 2016, 2015. And I remember from that point on, my perception started to slowly change. Uh, and of course, we're all works in progress, right? But but yeah, man. I mean, it's like why would I choose when I can have it all? That's the way I would put it.
And that I that you're speaking about is me. It's you. It's the
That's right.
we. It's me. And so, What I choose is myself. And people ask, well, do you participate in that arena? And I say, I
Mm,
don't.
no.
And I sit in this chair, this very chair, every day like you, Todd, all day long,
Yeah.
doing exactly what I love, playing in the zone, playing in the garden of forever.
Mm,
I vote every day that the one in the highest seat
yeah.
comes occupy my consciousness. And so, from this level of seeing, being, and freeing of the self, everything else doesn't get it. You realize that you don't deserve it. You realize your value.
Yeah.
As you lift, your value appreciates. You appreciate yourself. It's just something else. I serve another master
Yeah.
completely.
Well, to thine own self be true. Because if I serve me, I serve you. And that Trinity energy that you're talking about, like Mount Morgan pulled down about 3 weeks ago, was she was like, because there's many Trinities, many triads. And to me, this is the best one I've heard so far, which is service to self, service to others, and service to humanity. Or you could say the collective of the universe. But those three things, when your thought or your word or your action serves each of them equally, you're in the zone, man. You're in the new 0 point, really. I mean, I think we're actually creating a never before created grid because
I
what do
agree
we
with that. I absolutely
have?
agree with that.
Yeah,
That's kind
'cause
of the whole idea.
what is the one thing we have here? Because we're always like, oh, we're little humans, and get us out of this fishbowl of a realm where we're getting beat every day, and But what is the one thing that the human has that the rest of the universe doesn't have? It has the human experience
That's right.
in the physical, with all the extremities, the emotions, the mental, everything, and so if you throw that into the the cocktail that we brought into the party with us, you've got this elixir that you pour in as a kicker, and now you have a new grid. That is, like it's a new flower of life.
8 billion of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I always think. I'm like, I'm probably going to get to the end of this trip, and they're going to be like, "Hey, you've been the God all along." I'm like, "I'm God." All of you my friends, and I'm God. And then it's like multiplicity. And then you look to your right, and there's Keith, and he's finding the same thing out. Well, wait a minute. How can you be God and I'm God too? You know what I mean? Like I just get this thing where the gods, the goddesses, whatever, or us are up there laughing our asses off, going, "Oh my God, this is going to be so good." Almost like what's that old show that Adam Kushner used to do? Punked.
Yeah,
We're getting
yeah, yeah,
cosmically punked,
yeah. And we have to be there. There's no way we can be here if we weren't there, because what is happening is an extension of the light projecting literally itself onto this 3D screen we call Earth. Now you can watch a love story, or you can watch a horror flick. You can play the love song, or you can play the blues, and it's up to every one of yous. The good news, bad news. But we are there already, because
Yeah,
we're an extension of the light here manifesting on the Earth. You unplug from that system, you just simply don't exist, and that's impossible. That's one of the laws you can never change.
that's
You've
right.
always that you will always exist. There's
That's right.
nothing you can do about that law. Nothing.
Yeah. I have not. I mean, I've known you for quite some time. We've met twice in person. We've had a great time when we did, and when we've done shows. But and I'm saying this not just to you, but to everybody, because as the individual goes, so goes the collective. But I have not seen you. I've never seen you as illuminated as I do now. And I think that can be said for probably everybody that's watching this and that's doesn't think they're done enough or awake enough, but the fact that they're in this vortex, in this space, given all the movies playing out there that are uh, put, intended impressions to our consciousnesses to strategically uh, be adopted. In other words, to alter our consciousness. So we have all that going around, and then there's people like you, people that are in this community that are illuminating, that are doing exactly what you're saying. They're choosing to observe and And not only are they choosing to observe, but they're also choosing and learning. We're learning to manifest, like this 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 teacher that you're talking about in India.
It's not
This is the real shift, man.
it's not hard. It's never been hard. The harder you try, the more you overshoot.
Yeah,
It's simply doing nothing.
yeah,
Get good at doing nothing.
yeah. Exactly.
Just
That's it.
nothing.
Why would I want
Because
to choose when I can have it
a
all?
lot of people
Yeah,
following this pseudo spirituality, not pointing fingers, just a fact of the matter. There's a lot of
yeah,
pseudo spirituality out there, which is oh, and really straining and stressing and trying. And I get it. I love that you're passionate so much so that you're willing to jog up a 10-mile mountain. That intention is definitely recognized.
yeah.
But what will help the mountain climb not seem so steep is if you just stop the stress and strain of trying to bore your way into your spirit. Just stop. Just completely stop it all. All of it. Be still and know that I'm God doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
mean this.
yeah.
It means that.
Be
It means
still. Know that
zero. It means nothing. Not no thought and meditation. It means realizing that you're not recognizing that, oh my God, I'm in meditation and I'm not having any thought right now. I'm doing very good. It's not that either. Because unity with God, you can't bring a religion. That's all going to be shattered by the light. You can't even bring your shoes. Think, in fact, you're walking on holy ground your whole life.
you are holy ground,
Yeah,
holy and
right.
whole, the holy portal. That's funny you brought that up because I hadn't heard that in a long time. And when I first got on the streets 9 years ago, and I heard I am soul, and I was like, what does that mean? And I heard peace be still and know that I am God. I said, is that what it means? They said, peace be still and know that I am God. Yeah, far out.
And it sits quiet. We were talking earlier about the tiger, and it's that empty space between the notes that makes the music. So when people, Todd, I was listening to your presentation or your interview a little earlier, and you said people just make themselves known. Just watch. When people speak, of course we listen wholeheartedly. But if you want to understand the language of the light or that which is not being said, there is more encrypted in the empty space between the words someone
Of
is
course
using
there is. Of course there
than actually the utterances that are coming out of their mouth. And if
is.
you sit back
Absolutely.
and listen,
Yeah.
you will get a not an earful, but a heart and conscious mindful. You
Mhm.
watch the eyes, you hear what they say, you hear mostly what they don't say, and then you start understanding why that person moves the way they do in their mannerisms and gestures when they
Mhm.
use certain words. And then your level of functionality and these awareness focal points that we did earlier, it simply just begins to open up.
Yeah.
I want to know that there's a big dog behind that tree waiting to snarl and jump out and bite me on my ass versus not knowing. And so when I practice this awareness expansion, not only the things that I want to be cautious about, but those things that are simply opportunities. There could be an opportunity right here, and I will never see it until I realize, taste in my mouth, feeling on my skin. Oh,
Mhm.
there you are.
Mhm.
And it's right there.
Expanded presence.
Right.
Maybe that's another because here we go with the science meeting the spirituality, right? And they talk about the how far our energy spreads out, and the what is it, how do they measure the heart? It's like 10 feet in front of you, and maybe that's what we're doing. I mean, because I think we've come along far enough to get a handle at least, and kind of tame the horse in terms of being present. But now we're expanding that presence. Like this, I think this lady that was on earlier today, yeah, she was saying that when she woke up, she had these experiences. She went up on a spaceship. She's like, "What the hell's going on?" And yeah, she was talking about uh, she went to bed one night after these divine things that happened, still not knowing what's going on, questioning her sanity and all that. And she just said, "Man, this world's in trouble." So she went and prayed all night long, you know, one person. And then, like the next day, all this stuff started happening, kind of like the stewardess, calling you on the phone and giving you 2 tickets to India 2 weeks after you had this dream. And that's what I'm getting at. The do not underestimate the power of one unique and equal soul because it can affect the entire world, the entire realm. All right. I'm going to go break bread with my beloved sister that drove down from Minnesota. It's always good to see you. I look forward to collaborating with you again.
Brother,
Making
I
some
enjoyed myself.
music.
Thank you for the opportunity to play in the garden with you, man.
Yeah, man. We'll have to plan on. I'm gonna get a fire pit. Back here, got a little forest behind us, and
I'll bring my guitar.
bring your guitar. I got mine back here. Can you see it?
Sweet. Yeah, you told me you were playing again, didn't you?
Yeah, I played it, man. Yeah, I called you that night. I had to call you that night. That's
Right?
when I broke. That's when I popped my cherry after 8 years. The crazy thing is the calluses pretty much came right back. I thought
Really?
I thought they were gone. Yeah, but yeah, I mean they're not like they were, but two of the four fingers are pretty thick. All right, brother. I hope to see you in social media. We talked about what we talked about the other day. We're going to be opening up the network pretty soon. I hope to see you as part of that, and yeah, maybe we can manifest an alternative social community platform. More on that later.
I love it.
I don't
I
want
mean,
to.
yes,
I don't
my
want.
answer is yes.
I don't want to get the cart before the horse, but
Sure.
we got something working, and it looks like it's in line with everything that's going on, and the timing's right. So I appreciate you, man. I love you, brother. Thank you.
Love you beyond
for
measure,
showing
man.
up every day and being you and setting the example and putting those blinders on and getting it done. Tell your son I say hello.
Will do. I just picked him